All right, let's get started. So this webinar today is something that people have been talking about forever, and I really think there's a shift happening in the marketplace. But optimizing our process. I mean, you know that one of the things that at Lendesk that we're really focused on is something we call "Be Proud of Your Process." So all the different phases and chunks of your process. So today is about marketing and CRM best practices. So and with me I have a couple, Joe Tompkins, who's account manager at Lendesk, who's going to chat with us a little bit later about connecting, like the whole synergy, putting together a bunch of different good practices together into one flow. And also Tristan Kirk, who's a Lendesk ambassador, who's also with us today to talk about, I mean, listen, Tristan's doing some crazy things in terms of growth since late last year. So I'm excited to learn more about what you're doing. Tristan will give you a chance to jump in here when we get rolling. All right, so let's talk a little bit. I'm going to be super brief, but who is Lendesk? And so Lendesk is a Canadian software company, as you well know. And last year in October, we acquired Finmo, which, bringing the Finmo product together with the Lendesk lender network, we now have the marketplace's best borrower experience connected to the largest lender network outside of Filogix. And so those two things together, we're really excited about what's been happening lately with that. It fuels more innovation and more things. So we have a complete suite of products, but our flagship products, of course, are Finmo and Lender Spotlight together. Lots of things that we're working on with that as well. But we also have a private lender platform called Gateway, and we also have an enterprise platform that we use for large banks and credit unions. So currently, we have approximately 10,000 mortgage brokers or bank representatives using our various products. We are, I think, now at 244 lenders that are a part of our lender marketplace. So connected to all of those lenders. And I'm happy to report, since the last webinar, particularly if some of you were on the last webinar, hey, we're here. We made it. We are now submitting direct all lenders in the marketplace, and we've opened up our beta from a private beta to a public beta, so any of our Finmo customers can come in and start enjoying that increase in efficiency that comes with submitting direct to lenders without the need to push into Filogix Expert. And the last piece, save the best for last, security. We are the only mortgage technology platform, including the incumbent, that is SOC 2 compliant. And that's fancy language for we pay an accounting firm a lot of money every year to come in and make sure that all of the processes and everything that we do is locked tight like a vault. And so we take it really seriously. Customers' data is really important. And frankly, as a mortgage professional, I should be taking it really seriously as well. The times have changed where I can be cavalier about that. And so it's important. I already introduced all of the people that we have with us today. So let me just jump into a little bit about what I wanted to chat about with respect to CRMs. And I'm going to pass it over to Tristan to throw in his comments about marketing as well. And so the obvious answer, this is the one question we get a lot. What should I look for when I'm choosing a CRM? The cheeky answer is the one that you will use, but that's not that helpful. Really, what I think is interesting, and we've just been having this conversation, in fact, as much as even today internally. And one of the things that I think has shifted, and I can see it in the marketplace, is that I think that gone are the days. I was just reviewing a competitor's offer recently in the marketplace, and I really genuinely thought about that. I think that the tide has turned where consumers are looking for, more email, or worse, they're looking for more templated emails. This idea that I would get this, happy birthday with a puppy dog on it or some kind of templated email is maddening to me. As I get enough email and I don't want that stuff anymore. And I think that that's where the general consumer is going. Now, there's always something for everybody, But I actually think that gone are the days that I'm looking for a very complex, robust type CRM, whether it's something that's built into my deal management platform or it's something that I use outside that's connected to my deal management platform. Either way, the idea that I get something really robust and complex because I think it does a bunch of things for me. I think that the truth is that it may be doing things that I no longer think are valuable, and certainly I don't know that my consumers think is valuable. I don't need more Happy Groundhog Day. You know, the Bank of Canada changed their rates, or the Bank of Canada didn't change their rates, and I don't need any of that information as a consumer. What I really want is information that's relative to me. That's what I really want as a consumer. And I think that that's where the world is headed. And so actually, I can do that really, really simply. And so that's the one I would think about. What is the minimal thing that I can do that still gets me the results that I want? And so um, that's one thing. The second is, let's actually determine what is the definition of a CRM. CRM has become a catch-all term that actually is in the bucket is full with other things that are maybe useful to me, but are get thrown into the same bucket. For example, let's make sure we get all the terms. A product like Finmo is my loan origination system. It's how I get my customers into my data, I get their applications, and then I submit to lenders. That's a very important part of what I do as a mortgage professional. And so what else could I use to support that? A deal management platform like, say, Pipedrive, or one of those types of, again, a very simple program. I could be up and running and learn Pipedrive in less than half a day, and even less, in terms of all the support they have in the videos. So one of the examples, it's the one I use because it's the one that I use. As a mortgage professional, I use Pipedrive as well. And why is that? Well, it helps me with the deal management part of the platform. So from the time the customer says, I think I might want to get a mortgage with you, until the time that their mortgage funds, it's helpful for me to have something like that. But then what happens? Most people think that CRM is about what happens post funding, what happens after the customer is already funded with me, and that's where the stuff has gotten interesting. I think that, again, back to things should be minimal, things should be powerful. So the thing that I do with a customer, it has an impact. There's no longer a game where I want to send out 400 emails, get 30% of them opened, get 4% of them clicked on, and maybe one customer contacts me. That kind of stuff is not really, I think, the ideal scenario anymore. At least this is what I think. And so how should I approach that? I think that what I want to be able to do is to create something that is, and the reason why I said earlier I led with, while I should use the CRM that I'll use, it's because the more simpler it is, the more likely I'm going to use it. And so that's where I honestly believe that people ought to go to. And at Finmo, let me tell you a little bit, I'm going to kind of let you in on a little secret about how we think differently of it. Obviously, what I've just said in the last 5 minutes or so would tell you that we often think differently about it. And certainly, we do not believe that I should try to get a system that does everything all in one. Because I would start with saying, well, what else in my digital life do I have one thing that does everything for me? The truth is I have multiple things that do multiple things for me. And I want to hone in on the thing that specializes in the thing that I want to get done. And so this idea that I'm trying to create a system that is all in one, what I end up with often, I think, is a complex system. Very hard to learn, very hard for my customers to navigate. And therefore, I don't end up using all of the potential power of that, whatever there might be in that particular program. And the second thing that I think I end up getting is vanilla. I end up getting something that was built for the masses and not often very customizable to the way that I want to do things. Maybe I want to have this type of a campaign post funding. Maybe I want to have this kind of a campaign when the lender comes back with a response. Like, I want to be able to customize and trigger the way things happen, because here's something we learned at Finmo very early. Every mortgage, and it's actually quite surprising, every mortgage broker does things dramatically differently. It's really hard these days to find some all-in-one system that's going to give me what I need. And so I really want a system that is easy for me to customize. And then you already heard what I thought about sort of canned templates or canned campaigns. Customers hate them. I mean, we're at a world now where if some people, I mean, if I get any more templated emails, they were going to throw their laptop through the window. So, I mean, we need to come up with better information. So how do we think differently about that at Finmo? I think that, I mean, the other part of CRM that I haven't touched on yet, one of the functions of it is people do want to have analytics and or reporting. And that does make sense to me. And that should be done in my deal platform. And so at Finmo, that's something that we're thinking about. And we're working on that now. And because I want to be able to do the minimal thing that's going to create the most amount of impact. And so for us, it's one thing to give you a whole bunch of useless data, or make it complex for you to be able to pull multiple different reports. But really what we really want to do is to help our customers think about what is the analytic data that will help me zone in on the thing in my sales process or the area of my sales process that I'm weak in. And so how would I know that? Well, I can compare my analytics to all the other mortgage brokers in my community or in my province or in my country, whatever. I can then compare. If my app to funding ratio, so the time that I get an application to how many of those turn into funded deals, is lower than most other mortgage brokers in my area, then I have a spotlight. I now know that's an area that I could use some improvement in. And so then I can focus in on the parts of my business that need help, and so we're building that. The second piece, as it relates more to what do I say to customers? I think that customers, I mean, I've already been telling you this, I think that customers want to get information from their provider that's useful and interesting to me. It's not that useful when I'm 3.5 years into my term to keep getting emails about the Bank of Canada and what they did or didn't do. You know, if it's time for me to consider renegotiating my mortgage, I expect you to tell me that, or I expect you to give me an area where I might be able to research that on my own. And so, for example, the idea that we're currently working on is, what if I could send out emails to a customer and I pick the frequency, monthly or quarterly, where I'm giving my customer worthwhile information that is specific to them? That's the key. I don't want to see another generic email message that's, the message is for 100 or 200 or 400 people on a database list. I want to find out the information that's specific to me. What's interesting to me? That's what I want to know. And so how do I do that? That's not easy. And so what we look at is things like, well, what does the customer want to know? Well, I think customers love to find out what's the value of my property, the investment I made, what's my house worth on an ongoing basis. I'm 2 years ago, I bought this house. What's it worth today? And how easy is it for me to find that out? It's actually quite hard for me to find that out. But what if my mortgage provider could actually send that information to me on a regular basis and it's accurate? And then what if, because I know now what my house is worth and I know how much the mortgage balance is on my house, why can't you send me an email that's specific to me that tells me whether I have an opportunity to refinance or I have an opportunity to renegotiate my interest rate and I'm going to save X dollars per month? You should be able to tell me that. Now, I know that it's hard if you have 400, 500, 200, 75 people in a database for you to be able to create and craft an individual message that's specific to each of those people, nearly impossible. But what if you could? How important would that be? I mean, how interesting would that be for my customers? And so these are the things that we think about. So another one, because we have Lender Spotlight, I know what all the interest rates are. Here's what the interest rate that you have, Mr. Customer, that you did 2 years ago. And here's what interest rates are in the marketplace right now. There's an opportunity for you to renegotiate. And if you did renegotiate, you'd save 4 years off your mortgage, which would equal $72,000 in savings. I should be able to tell you that instantly. And in fact, I should be able to give the customer the ability to play around with that. And so, and then the final piece that we think about is this concept that I'm always approved. How hard is it for me to, as a technology provider, to provide our customers with this idea that your database of customers are always in a perpetual state of approved? And so I know what your beacon score is. I can check that on a soft hit. I know what your debts are. I know what your income is because you did an application. And in fact, if you change your income, what if I gave you the opportunity to be able to tweak that? And so I should be able to give you an ongoing, every time the mortgage broker sends out an email, here's what you're approved for. You're approved. Like go, like, you know, pre-approved already. And those are some of the ideas. If you think about our concept of mortgage in minutes, and so these are the type of things. Again, it starts with this concept of be minimal. Do the least amount of thing that would have the highest impact, because we're all busy. And more importantly, my customers are busy. And so I want to be able to give them something that's really interesting. So, you know, stay tuned for that. We're actually working on it right now. Will be released very soon. But I'd love to get some feedback and some ideas on that in the chat. But I think that, you know, the point is that I shouldn't be looking for the proverbial best CRM that's out there, because most of the ones that are available now are not hitting the mark, I think, in terms of be minimal and be impactful. That's what I'm trying to do. And so with that, let me pass it over to Tristan. So Tristan, welcome. Tell us a little bit about what you think about in terms of marketing and CRM.
Yeah, thanks, Greg. I think you have a lot of good points there in the fact that the market that we're in, especially as mortgage agents and brokers, have changed. It's going to continuously evolve, and our client bases are, for the most part, you're right. They don't want scripted content anymore. They want content that's directed towards them, right? Whether that is how they can shave off 4 to 7 years on their mortgage because they're a homeowner, whether it's opportunities, you have X amount of money available for equity takeouts, or you're a first-time home buyer and you want to sort of understand the steps that are necessary. What is a credit check? How do I do that? What are the steps? That's what people want. They don't want a scripted, hey, my name is Tristan. I'm from Citadel. Thanks for filling out my application. Let's set a time to talk, right? They don't want a happy birthday email, right? When you're looking at your CRM database, and I'll share some best practices that we do over here. I think, there's 3 elements that we have to look at. A CRM should be a marketing platform. That's really what it should be. Your first part of that is prospecting and pipeline building. And that's what you want your CRM to do. So what does that look like? Well, for us, it looks like each type of client, whether you're a homeowner, a first-time home buyer, second mortgage, or reverse mortgage, there's high-end content that is being connected to that borrower. It's not a mixed bag of goods, right? If you come in and you're looking for a reverse mortgage, you need content for that reverse mortgage, and it just can't be an ebook. Maybe it's a ebook followed up with an information video of one of the agents, right? Talking about the product with let's book a time to talk. It has to be engaging. It has to pop. You have 30 to 45 seconds to catch that client's attention. And really, that's what you guys should be looking at. And that's what we do at Citadel is, our whole process is if you come in looking for a second mortgage or a first mortgage, you're going to be connected through multiple platforms. So, as you onboard with us, if you're connected to Instagram, Facebook, our system connects with Facebook Messenger, IG, WhatsApp, Telegram. So we're connected in multiple ways, right? And I'll tell you right now, most clients are using Facebook or WhatsApp to communicate. And if your CRM isn't doing that for you right now, then you're up against brokers that are, and you're slowing down your pipeline building there, right? So you have to look at that element of it.
Let's just stop there before you go on to the next piece, because I really like what you said here, and because it triggered something I was thinking of. If I am going to invest in some kind of a more robust CRM, I agree with you. The campaigns that I could do to turn a lead into a customer into an application, that's worthwhile. And frankly, even the campaigns I could build from a customer who has already chosen me, has already done an application with me, to get them to close with me, I could see some value in terms of that campaign. So What have you guys been doing over there? As I remember, did you build something proprietary, or are you using off-the-shelf third party?
So we're using a third party, but we customized it to us, right? So we completely engineered what they had on the shelf, and it's designed for every element of clients that we face. It's broken into segments of homeowners, first-time buyers, home renters, property flippers, investment properties. Like, it's broken down into each segment with content delivered directly for them, and it's broken down into ebooks, articles, clickable images that open up to pop-ups of hot points on the topic that they're looking for, right? And we deliver the messaging in email, voicemail drops, Telegram, WhatsApp, IG. So wherever the client is comfortable connecting with, live chat, immediately live chat directly to our cell phones. So wherever that client wants to communicate with us, we have the ability to communicate. And I think that is something that, us as brokers, we have to understand that we have to cater to what the clients sort of want in a way. Obviously, we want clients on the phone, but there's some clients where I've done a full end-to-end mortgage in a Facebook Messenger chat. I've done it on a WhatsApp chat, right? like it's I'm like, hey, can I have 5 minutes? I just need to talk to you. No, okay, you know what I mean? Like it's just, we have to be looking at that, and that's what we've taken a lot of pride in here at Citadel, is supplying our agents with the ability to connect to their clients in real time in multiple ways. We have a really cool auto dialer feature where, so to your point, when it's a birthday, we may still send an email, a text, a Facebook message, whatever, but it automatically calls and our clients connect live with the clients to wish them a happy birthday. And that's the meaningful impact of your CRM working for you, right? Because it's data mining your content at that point. You don't even have to think about, is it my client's birthday today? You get a notification, and then at that particular time, it automatically calls the client. So, those are things that if you're looking at prospecting and retention, those are key elements that I think we need to look at.
Okay. Yeah, I agree. I think that's got some interesting parts where you've invested a lot of the build out in the front end part of it and converting the client. Makes a lot of sense. That's how you get paid. What are you thinking about post funding?
Yeah, so we use the same platform, and we do post funding in a couple of different ways. So we automatically send our clients handwritten cards, right, with gift baskets 7 times a year, right? So the CRM allows the functionality. Once it's funded, it automatically sends the message, and the backend team takes care of it. We send a subscription of socks and a cake to a client post funding as well, right? And this is all segmented in months. So as soon as the mortgage closes, within 30 days, they get their socks. Within 15 days, they get their cake, and then within 3 months, they get their gift basket with their first handwritten card, right? And then it continues that way over the life of 24 months with a client, right? So we're doing that here, right?
Yeah, I like that. If I'm going to do something post funding, what I just said earlier about do minimal and have impact, that captures that. I mean, not very many people get gifts from their, and certainly not unique gifts. Like, I love the idea of socks. And we used to do Cutco knives that were actually quite popular as well with our customers, and they would do more referrals and that kind of stuff as well. So, okay, so walk us through for the audience. Kind of give me an idea of a campaign that would be for a new first-time home buyer that's kind of found you somewhere, and now they're in the Citadel. They just entered the Citadel stratosphere. What's going to happen, like on a high level? What's the pieces?
Yeah, so they automatically, our agents get notified with a notification to their cell phone. The client comes into the Citadel ecosystem. They get a voicemail drop introduction into Citadel. Hey, just thank you for reaching out to us. One of our agents will be in contact with you right away. They also get mailed out a email and a text message with a video pop-up that pops up with a mortgage agent and welcomes them to Citadel and explains. And attached to those messages is a welcome to Citadel ebook that highlights the features of Citadel. So our other platforms like Air Miles and other stuff that we have. So it walks them through who we are, who their agent is, and what the next step is. So they have a one sheet attached to that as well, that if it's a first time home buyer, this is what to expect. You're going to get a call within the next 20 minutes with onboarding questions from your agent. We're going to walk you through an application. We're going to walk you through an ID verification system to verify you are who you say you are. And then we're going to collect documents. And then from there, we're going to circle back and take care of your application. And throughout that process, they get notifications. So as soon as the deal gets submitted to underwriting, the client gets a notification saying your file is now submitted to underwriting. If they're missing documents, the same thing. They get a voicemail drop, a text, and an email, or a Facebook message, depending on what information we have in the system. So the clients are always updated in the application. And I'll tell you something, our clients love that, because our clients are like, wow, like, it's nice to know that I need to go upload this, or hey, it's nice to know that it's submitted to a lender now. Like, these are the personable conversations that our agents get to have with our clients, and it builds rapport and it builds retention in the long run too, I think.
Wow. Yeah, I can see that. Now I understand why your crazy growth rate, both not just in the amount of customers that your firm puts through, but the amount of brokers you're recruiting. This makes sense to me now, because I mean, your growth rate on both those has been fantastic, and that's interesting. So speak to us now as a broker owner for a second, because I actually just had this thought. Lots of people in our audience are probably thinking, where do I go? Like, I don't want to have to try to figure out how to build some robust system just for me in my, and frankly, we could just say it. Most of the networks out there, the systems are not necessarily, they're certainly not as robust as that, and could be, considered to be quite old, out of date, I think. But so from a broker's, when you're speaking to an agent, regardless if they're new or intermediate or a high producing agent, what's the thing you say to them about, in terms of building out their CRM or joining a firm that has that?
I just asked them one real question. What's your plan to grow your pipeline? Right? That's what I asked them. What's your plan to build your pipeline? Right? And then once you put in the time to get those clients, what are you going to do with them? Right? What is that onboarding experience going to be like? Right?
Yeah.
Because that's what we're up against. We're up against, it's not really as relevant here in Canada, but in the States, you're up against people that are onboarding their mortgage clients within a minute and a half, and they're talking to someone live, but through different platforms giving them content. Right? It's coming. You know what I mean? I think it's coming here. So we have to do that. And that's why I tell agents and brokers, I say, look, do you want a system that's designed to submit to a lender with some vanilla stuff thrown on top to make it seem like it's good, when in reality it's 5 years old? Like, it kills me when I see new email templates. Email open rates the lowest it's ever been, and it's not improving. Exactly. So why are we going down that road, right? Oh, I can text clients now. That's fantastic. Texting was 3 years ago. Now they're into WhatsApp, Telegram, TikTok, IG. Like, what are you providing me, right? You're providing me a deal system with some vanilla stuff on it. And us as agents and brokers, I'm telling you, if you want to take your business to that next level, if you don't want AI automation to cut you out of the play as it becomes more prevalent in our business moving forward, you need a hell of a good onboarding experience.
Yeah, I totally agree. Joe, I think you had a question, but I'm just going to make a point and then I'll call on you. But I agree. I mean, here's the thing. I mean, we said this a while. Customers, I was just on a meeting earlier this morning where this came up as well. We have an interesting thing in the mortgage broker space. Our competitors with the major banks, they still have, say 70% market share overall, maybe 50% market share on first-time home buyers or on home buying. So mortgage brokers have made a big push, particularly in the last year, because mortgage brokers are easier to do a digital experience with. So that's important to note, but it won't take long for them to catch up, I think. But the other thing is that um, there's this idea that customers have been taught about a digital experience already. I can order a car wherever I am. I can get a burrito, or I can get anything I want delivered to my house in seconds. I can order my groceries and have it delivered on whatever time I want. I mean, the world has gotten, so why would I not get that full experience when I get a mortgage? Why is it still so hard? And I think as a mortgage professional, my choices are to go and find something and build it out myself, or to go somewhere where that's already been built out and delivered. But keep in mind that I shouldn't get too stressed about it, because the options are there for me to do. But anyway, so Joe, you had a question? You had your hand up anyway.
Yeah, we did. Kyle Green brought up a good question. Tristan, this is for you. It says, very cool post-closing gift plan. What is the average number of referrals from closed clients within 24 months?
Yeah, great question. I love it. I can tell you my average cost on a client from a referral cost me about $200, right? A client. And I can tell you that's a lot less than me spending money on acquiring a new client, right? So, I'll say this, I'll say, it costs about $200 a client. We do it with, particular clients, obviously, that we know are going to refer. And we have a 30% referral rate year over year, right? So 30% of our clients are referring business, and I'll take that all day, every day. Is it where I wanted to be? Absolutely not. But is it where I'm happy with today and continuously to build upon? Absolutely, right? If I can push that number to 40 to 50%, then I'm laughing, right? But 30% year over year with referrals, that's look, I haven't taken a new client in 4 years. I don't need to, because my clients consistently supply me with referrals. And what's really cool is I have a lot of new agents, and when they get going and they start investing in this platform, you can see how quickly they get it. Because think about the impact. You're sending someone a sock subscription for 6 months. You're sending someone a cake saying, hey, thank you for closing. And then all of a sudden they get this handwritten card that has your name on it, and it says, hey, thank you for closing that mortgage. Enjoy your gift basket. Hey, give me a call. Let's catch up. I'll tell you, 9 out of 10 clients call me, right? And they say, hey, thank you so much for this gift basket. And then you know what my next question is? Hey, not a problem, right? Can we put together an Uber lunch or something, and you can talk to me about who you can refer to me? There's the conversational piece that continues after the sale, right? And that's the easiest way. Why am I going to chase a client down? Why, get the client to call me?
Yeah, I agree. It's do the math, and then I think it's like, here's where I think people get stuck. And I remember this from my leading mastermind groups. That example you just gave. So I'm just making up numbers. Let's say I do 100 deals this year, funded deals, and it costs me $200 per client, which is high relative to others in my marketplace, but that could be the actual good part. And so that's going to cost me $20,000 this year, for example, in gifting. A lot of people, mortgage brokers, would be like, fall off their chair.
Yep.
But if I think about this for a second, and I got to have a leap of faith at some point, but if I really do a good job, I can subsidize the gifts with valuable information. Some of the stuff I told you about earlier. What if I gave my clients the value of their homes? And what if I gave my client the ability to, easily access more credit, whatever the case may be. So if I did those two things, and in your numbers of 30% of clients, if I had 100 clients, that means I'm going to get 30 new deals that year. And if my average commission is probably 4,000, let's say, that's $120,000. So would I spend $20,000 to get $120,000? Obviously, yes. However, how do you get people? You must have talked to a lot of your agents that, how do you get people over that hump? That yeah, sure, maybe I don't get 20 deals, 30 deals. And so I'm too chicken to start. Like, how do you get them over that hump?
Great question. So I think we have to tackle it in two ways, right? I think the first way is this. Look, I find new agents have no problem spending $2,000, $5,000, $10,000 a month in marketing, okay, for a 5% turnover conversion, okay?
Yeah.
Like it blows my mind. You're willing to spend 18 grand over a 3-month period to get a 5% turnover growth, but you're complaining to me about $20,000 when you take care of a client. Like, does that make logic sense? So I think I think we have to look at that. We have to look at that, right? And if you want to take it a step farther, what is Apple and Google? What are they? They are companies that take our information and remarket to us. So do you want to be the next Apple and Google of the mortgage world? Or do you just want to be that mortgage agent that's spending money to the point where you're eventually going to run out of it? Totally. Right? Because you can't keep like unless you have a healthy bank behind you, what we spend on marketing is crazy. Okay. And it's only getting more expensive as different things come into the market. So you're more than willing to spend that money on there, but you forget about those clients that have a great experience with you. Come on, man, $20,000, $10,000 a year to take care of your client base that took care of you. Think about it.
Well, in that example I gave you, 100 deals, if my average commission is 4,000, then I made 400,000. So 20,000 of my $400,000 gross is a reasonable percentage of my gross revenue is in terms of marketing. So here's the way I would think, help another way that I think about it when I'm coaching or talking to somebody is say, okay, well, look, you don't want to make the leap of the math I just showed you where it's like, well, if you get a 30% conversion rate and don't do that. Well, what if it was 20% or what if it was 15%? Actually, just go to this and say, well, what would I need to do in order to have no risk? Mm-hmm. So I'm going to spend $20,000 on this. I've committed. I'm going to do a gift program. And by the way, whatever you do, if any of you is thinking about something like this, don't start it and 2 months later quit.
Yeah.
Because you got scared and you've spent $10,000 and you're like, because that's a way. You got to commit to 12 months, minimum, maybe more. But okay, so what would I need to do? Okay, my budget's $20,000. And by the way, I like what Tristan said. Make your gifts unique. Make your gifts valuable. That's why the Cutco knives were, I think, good for us because people loved them. They're good quality products. So whatever it might be, I've heard of friends doing fuzzy blankets and stuff that people will like and be unique. Socks, super unique. It helps me stand out. Now, what I would do then is to say, okay, my average commission is 4,000. What do I need to do to be risk-free? Well, I need to do 5 deals. 20,000 divided by 4,000, 5 deals. So then I can say, do I think I could get 5 deals out of doing this with all of my customers and maybe throw an annual review in there and maybe throw in some other services that I might do? Unique, no templated emails, no campaigns that people don't want to hear from. Make it simple and highly impactful. So that's the same thing, by the way. I was thinking about getting an assistant. People get all worked up about it. Oh, I got to get an assistant. Well, what's going to cost me? It's going to cost me $70,000. Okay, how many deals do I have to grow next year in order to just break even, just to remove the risk? And if I look at that and say, well, that's 15 deals. I made that up. 10 deals, whatever, 15 deals, let's say, okay, if I had an assistant to take care of all of this and I had more time to go out and prospect for business, could I get 15 more deals? Yes. Okay, well, then the risk is minimal. So I should do it. That's the same thing I think here. Just commit to it. Joe, do we have any more questions that we got to cover off?
No, we're good. No more questions right now.
Okay, well, let's move it over to you in terms of, what's going on? Here we go. Setting up your CRM. So I think you want to take over from here. Is that right? Sharing screen? That's what's happening?
Yeah. So you just have to stop sharing, and I'll start sharing.
Okay. Got it.
There we go. All right. There we go. We should be able to see the Lendesk site. Okay, well, thanks everyone. So amazing information, Tristan, that you've shared, and it touched on so many different points that I've heard for years, and I've been in the mortgage industry for 16 years as well. The investment into your database is key. So what I'm going to be talking about and showing you today is the connection from Finmo to your database management system, so you can have a robust accounting of your database, and it can be from an inexpensive set of systems to a medium, like a pipe drive system that is simple to use and easy to develop, and if you want assistance, we have that, or to a more robust system like a Salesforce or a Zoho Blue Mortgage type system. So with that, what Finmo has done is Finmo has created a relationship with a program called Zapier. And if we go to your Finmo account and you go to your gear here, you'll see down the very bottom, we have our integrations. So in the development of Finmo, one of the conversations we had was, are we going to be an all-in-one CRM mortgage platform system? Well, that's, first of all, no. We wanted to be application, document collection, submit to lender. We wanted to do all that better than anyone and provide you with a mortgage administration experience. Now, do we have some CRM-like functionality? Yes. Are we going to be launching things that are going to help you close more deals and get more deals? Yes. So there are going to be some internal CRM-like capabilities, all with the focus on keeping your clients and getting the mortgages done quicker for your clients. But what we've done with our integration with Zapier is given you the ability to automate your business, to connect to your CRM, to connect to your calendar, to connect to your spreadsheet. If you love your spreadsheet, you can connect to your spreadsheet. But we take it a little bit further and we talk about the process. We talk about knowing your business, knowing the journey of your client from lead all the way through to renewal. And that's what we talk about in our integration sessions and in one-on-one meetings. Our partners talk about this as well. And do you have a customer journey? Do you have a document that you know what you do when the lead comes in? What do I do with a lead? So if you can build your business, and I've talked about this with a few friends, I believe that, if you're a mortgage professional in this industry, you've got skills, you have a max that you can do on your own. You're going to be around 20 to 25 million, and you're going to be able to do that for a couple of years all by yourself, and then you're going to burn out. Some people say, no way, I can do it all day long. It's like, well, you're not going to have a life then. So what I'm talking about is, and a lot of people are talking about, is automating your business so you can take those lower dollar per hour tasks off your desk and be the bridge from 15 million to 25 million. So your systems are automated. So when you do get to the point where you're cranking the volume, you're doing 100 to 150 deals a year, and you are ready to hire that licensed underwriter or unlicensed assistant or maybe a team, whatever it is you want to do, but you have to have systems in place. You have to have a repeatable business that allows you to do the deal the same way every time so you can replicate it. So your customers are feeling your attention when you're doing a discovery call or a strategy session. They have your attention and you're not worried about, oh my gosh, that subject removal is coming up. I got to order that appraisal. Shoot. Oh, I forgot to enter the data for that person over there. Those are the low dollar per hour tasks that you need to get off your plate. So this is what this is. This is the customer timeline journey lifecycle. So from lead through to renewal, what are you doing in your business? You can take this document, and we share it with people all the time. You look at what you do and you write down what you do. So when you do hire somebody, you can hand them this document or share it with them, and they can read it and they'll know exactly how you do your business, because you're not just doing your business for this year and for tomorrow and for the next 5 years. You're building your business so in 15 or 20 years, you can have a book of business that is worth something, that you can take to an accounting firm and they can say, wow, your processes and your systems are awesome. Your business is worth X amount of dollars. Congratulations. And then you can sell that book of business. And that's what we're in this for. So moving forward with this, how do we do this? How do you automate your business? How do you look at your client journey and say, how can I do this? So for instance, a new lead comes in. So you call the lead, of course, within 30 minutes. And then you enter the basic information in Finmo and you invite the borrower in to start an application. That is called the trigger in Finmo. And so what happens with that is, here is Zapier. There's the trigger. Application has started in Finmo. So whether your client has clicked online on your apply now, or whether you've invited them in from Finmo, that's starting an application. Well, you have a list of things that you do every single time on your customer journey. Maybe you find or create a card in Trello. And I'm using Trello as an example, as an inexpensive one. It could be Pipedrive, it could be Salesforce, it can be one of 522 CRMs that are on this platform. And then you want to move the card. So maybe you move it from potential lead to lead or application submitted. And then you have, I want to create a contact in Google. We all use the email systems in Gmail or Office 365 they're so much more powerful than they were 10 and 15 years ago. Why not create a backup of your database on those systems too? So they're there, not only in your CRM, but they're also on your email system, and they're there. And then why don't you add them to your, say, MailChimp for your newsletters that go out? So this may seem easy, but it happens every single time you start an application. So if this took 5 minutes, another 5 minutes, maybe 5 or 10 minutes, and then again, well, you've just saved yourself at least 15, 20 minutes just on one step. And then if we move to the next step on your client journey, when the application is submitted and documents are being collected automatically by Finmo, we'll jump to the next trigger, application submitted by the borrower in Finmo. Well, what do you do then? What is your process with your business? Well, you want to find that deal in your CRM account. You want to move it from lead to application submitted document collection phase. Maybe you love your spreadsheet and you're not ready to let go of your spreadsheet yet. Well, you can add a row to a spreadsheet, whether it's Microsoft Excel or Google Sheets, you can add a row. Then maybe you want to delay it for a little bit. Then a couple hours later, you want to send out an email to the client and set the expectations for what the relationship is going to be like with you and the client. And then you want to create a folder in Google Drive where you're going to download your documents and store them. And then you want to create a calendar in Google Calendar to remind you to get in and underwrite that deal in 24 hours. And then find or create a contact if you haven't done that. And then maybe send a thank you to the realtor and let them know, hey, your client has applied. Let me know if you have any questions. So again, this is the second trigger, and we've now saved ourselves, 5, 10, 15, 20, 30, onwards. We've saved maybe at least another 30 minutes. So there's 2 triggers, and now you're up to over an hour of time saved by using automations. And again, we have a lot of other triggers, and we're going to be growing this as well. And here's a simple trigger. You add a note in Finmo, and you want to add that note to your CRM. Well, it can do it. You create a note in Finmo, and it passes it over to your CRM program. So there's a lot of information here. And by using Zapier, it simplifies it for you. It's an easy system to learn. I do integration sessions with people every week, multiple times. And it's a good way for you to think about how you're going to grow your business. Like Tristan talked about, you've got to have systems that you work and that you use, and you've got to do things different. And having a customer journey lifecycle document like this, that you can plan out your gifting, you can plan out your planning, your reminders, your completion, every step of the way. What do you do in your business? And take this and make it yours. And then as you're ready to grow it, you can then look into the automations once you finish this. If you're finding all of this too much and you're like, well, I would love to work with someone, well, we have partners that we work with that are trusted, that work, with Pipedrive, they work with Blue Mortgage, and they'll help you. They'll build it. The team over at Deploy Online, they're fantastic. They'll work with you for your automation, with your client journey, with anything you need. They'll liaise with you and build your system. So if you're a new broker, they'll work with you. If you're a high-end broker, they'll work with you, and they'll plan a series of meetings to plan out your business so it works for you, and you can grow your business to be something that you're proud of, and you can be proud of your processes that you're using in your business. And that's what the team here at Lendesk and Finmo, that's what we do. We are proud of our team here. We're proud of what we do, and we're proud of the partnerships we have with people like Tristan and Citadel Mortgages. And so we look forward to working with you and helping you plan out your systems and getting going on your businesses.
Okay. Thanks, Joe. Lots of questions about this document. So about whether or not we can share that. So when we send out the webinar recording and that, we can send out this document. Right, Joe?
That's correct.
A lot of questions about, was that Zapier? Was that the Zaps? Yes, that's Joe's custom Zaps. It looks like it's overwhelming. Maybe for some people, maybe not. But it's really not. It's actually quite easy to do myself, because of the way we built Finmo to do the triggers that Joe said, and then it's just dream up what you want. And it could even send an email to your company that you outsource for the gifting. I mean, you can just basically anything you can think of, you can have it triggered so that it automates it for you. And work with that. And also we have third-party providers that will help you if you want to. If I'm busy, I'm doing clients, but I want this, yeah, well, they'll set it all up for you. So yeah, we'll send that out. Moyeen asked about, is Blue Root the best CRM for Finmo? Would there be a consensus involved at the end of this presentation about which CRM is to go with Finmo? The answer is no. The answer is there isn't a best CRM for Finmo. They're all good. We built Finmo such that it talks to every single CRM in the marketplace. Salesforce, Zoho, which Blue Root is built on Zoho. Now, Blue Root is, in my view, if I want a robust CRM with lots of stuff going on, then it's a great choice because it is Canadianized for the Canadian mortgage business. So it's worth looking into, in my opinion, if I want something robust. If I'm looking for something that's, again, minimal with high impact, then I might consider some other things that are good on that. So, question, Jackie, so Zaps is integrated in Finmo? Well, I suppose the proper terminology is that Finmo is integrated with Zapier. So basically the triggers that are in Finmo that Joe showed, when a trigger like that happens in Finmo, it'll send it over to Zapier and then do your campaign of whatever it is that you've asked it to do. It's a good question from Marco. Does Finmo integrate with Velocity? Well, the answer is Velocity has an open API, but they won't let us connect with them, despite us asking them and despite us wanting to. So maybe if you know somebody over there, put in a good word and tell them that we'd love to do that. Krista is asking about our third-party providers. Just go into either contact. We'll put the contact information for Joe as well on the emails that go out, and Joe can put you in charge with the people that we've outsourced to help people get all set up. And does Finmo connect with Boss? Wow, interesting questions. The reason I would want Boss, or for that example, Velocity, is because I need help with my payroll and my compliance. And so the answer is we can, and we're working on those. I mean, remember, these people are also our competitors. It's an interesting, funny business, but ultimately what we believe is true is that we should connect to everything and let the customer, you, the brokers, decide on how you want to use the system. That's how we feel. And so we're just waiting for that. And does it interact with Door and Expert Pro? No. And that probably won't, because that is the Philogic system. We already connect to Expert. And so I don't see any reason why I would need to connect it to, the Expert Pro system or anything like that. Because it doesn't have anything to do with my payroll. Most people's payroll nowadays, including the LC group, is handled off of Philogic's Expert, and we connect to them. So, Tristan, how do I contact you outside the meeting? We're going to give Tristan's contact information, so you can contact Tristan and ask him any questions or talk about it. Tristan, he's asking if you're open to an agent on Vancouver Island. I don't know. Maybe you thought about that.
Yeah. We're licensed in Alberta, Ontario, and Nova Scotia, and we'll be Canada-wide by the end of Q2. So definitely reach out to me, and we'll have that conversation.
Okay. All right. Well, what time? We're closing in on the top of the hour. I think I've handled all the questions. Joe, do we have any others? Everything's handled.
Yeah, we're good on the Q&A right now. You bet.
Okay. Well, let's. Oh, wait.
There we go.
Oh, more. Marco, you're asking me why Finmo's not with Velocity. Well, I would ask Velocity that. As I said to you, we've built the connection. We've asked to be connected so that you can help with your payroll, and they've turned us down. So I would say ask them. And which CRM does Citadel use? Citadel's built their own proprietary system, right, Tristan?
Yeah, so we're using a third party, but we custom built it. Again, you guys can reach out to me afterwards if you guys want. I do offer it to the broker channel, but we'll keep that under wraps for next time.
Okay. yeah, reach out to Tristan if you want to talk a little bit more about that. So just to wrap everything up, looks like we covered everything off now. My last sort of 1 minute each is just remember, try not to get too overwhelmed. Do the most minimal thing you can do with the highest amount of impact. And I quite like the post-funding gift program because it's unique, it's different, it gets attention. And I really like that's my biggest takeaway from this. So thank you for that, Tristan. Tristan, wrap us up. What's your sort of synopsis in 1 minute or less?
Just be the best broker and agent that you can be. Make sure your brokerage or network is actually invested in you and not their platform. And make sure you make the best decisions for yourself, for your clients, because your clients are your lifeline.
Okay, great. Joe, wrap us up. Your last minute or so.
No, that's Tristan covered it perfectly with what he said. Think about your business, think about your clients, think about your client journey and what you want to do with your clients. If you're new in the business, if you're 5 years, 10 years, or 20 years, it's never too late to start your client journey document, map it out, follow it, and build your business and be proud of the process that you're doing.
That's a great point. I'm really glad you left with that one because it is never too late to start something. And that Zapier stuff is dead simple. So thank you for that. Get in touch with us if you like. One more thing. Somebody asked earlier, and I forgot to mention it. They're asking me, how do I find alternative lenders on Lender Spotlight? Funny you should say that because we're just about to release a feature where we'll have all of the mortgage investment corps in the marketplace. Well, not all of them, pardon me. We're starting with a group of that are the most popular so that you can actually start to now run scenarios through Lender Spotlight and get connected with the right lender. So stay tuned for that, coming very soon. And so, yeah, Christina, you are going to send everything out to everybody and take care of that. I take it, right?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, great. Well, again, thank you for your time. We're right on time. So get back to happy selling, and we'll see you on the next podcast or the next webinar. Cheers.
Thanks, everyone.